etc., etc. I want you to give like clear, concise answers to these things since we only got so much time, and I want to make sure I've got facts and not so much more than that. Firstly, when you are clocked into the Kortz center, and getting your paychecks, what does that entail? Like, what percentage of your clocked in hours are you at the Kortz center?
Physically at the Kortz center?
Yep.
A lot of it, I'm not at the Kortz center. I'm in the city.
I got you.
I mean, literally, honestly, it's very rarely I'm at the Kortz center.
Okay. All right. Easy. Secondly, and this is, I didn't take notes last time. Have you ever set you set prices back in like February or March or something? We talked about this the other day, when the the bet changed, right? The price of bet. Have you altered any prices since then?
Yes.
Okay. When how recently?
About a month ago. I had spoken to Jason about it. Told her that people weren't selling things to the Kortz because the prices were too low after I had adjusted them to be lower. So at that point, yes, the prices was adjusted.
I see. And that's just car parts?
Yes.
I got you. Okay. Roughly how many active customers have we had, would you say, in the last like 2 months, like for car parts and such?
I would say approximately 5 to 7. I mean, not active, 5 to 6.
Okay.
Probably like Wade, Chaos.
Yeah.
There was quite a few other ones. I didn't know if they got processed or not. There was a couple that were definitely canceled because they got parts elsewhere. It was stage 3 since they order. But yeah, I would say probably like 5 or 6 to be honest.
Okay.
6 months or 2 months.
So
not very many.
I got you.
Are they all LSPD?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So then the next kind of thing opens up is like, have you sold stage 3? Do people buy stage 4s?
Yes, they buy stage 4s and 5s. Chaos is a big fan of that. He likes his money, obviously. Before they could be repaired, he'd buy them, even though they were like at 50%. But once he started getting the stuff that was lower, demanded even less. Not demanded, but requested less, which I assume somebody gave him. I don't even know how to get the discount code for additional part.
Okay.
On top of the 30.
All right.
The parts were sold to him at lower discount.
What happened with the turbos? The 100mm turbos. Yeah.
Oh, I bought those.
I got you.
They were being sold, and so I put a purchase order in them, and I made the payment, and just the acceptance. It's been sitting there for like 3 days.
Wait, what's
Payment's in the Kortz account?
Okay, but why did you buy them?
But they weren't being sold. They were already at 50%.
Oh, they had broken down to 50%.
Yeah, they were already busted down. They weren't brand new. I initially sold them to the Kortz, right? But the price of them at that point where they were sold and made, even though I bought them, the Kortz still made a profit.
Okay. So here's kind of the issue that I'm seeing looking at these numbers here, Bruce. When we brought you in, it was to kind of take on like a management role, right? And that was, help us set the price for what people are going to be willingly selling to the Kortz center, right? As sellers, they'd be making a profit. And then when buyers came in, they were buying at a reduced rate, so they were benefiting. But a lot of that comes down to they're actively working at the Kortz center because it's not a normal business. It's a government business, right? That functions off subsidies. And where I'm trying to wrap my head around this is, according to like the last 2 months of records, you have sold somewhere like $6 million worth of product.
In the last 2 months?
Yeah. Yes.
Wait.
$4.8 million.
There was a big turnaround. Now, well, if the numbers are there, they're there. Here's
Yeah.
the thing: the parts that went into there were the 4s and 5s that costed the most, and the slicks.
No,
If you do the math on those parts,
they're part 3s and 4s.
3s, 4s, and 5s. And the 3s were one-time deal, and the rest have been always. I resupply those for free, 1s, 2s, and 3s.
I don't see any 5s on this. Yeah.
There's 5s in there right now, and there's 5s lightweights.
Jason, could you take a look? Is there something scuffed with this shit?
I am looking right now.
I'm telling you, it's all there.
That's why we're asking questions, right?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I sold plenty of 5s. And the reason why I stopped selling 5s was because the market changed and people were paying more, and then people didn't want to spend. And the only person that was selling to the courts in the last 2 months.
Oh, it says 424.
Is Irish. Once Irish found out that he could sell for more, he stopped selling to the courts. He sold 4s, a lot of 4s, the RC car, a couple of variances of other things too, not auto part related.
There are stage 5s in inventory at Kortz.
Okay.
Yes.
When did you sell the 5s?
Shit, they're real low now, so it was a while back.
I don't get why it's not showing up in the data sheet.
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
Was it prior to you being hired?
No, I don't know. It was recent.
No?
Like, no.
Okay.
They would have been, yeah. So in the last 2 months, I mean, the only thing I've sold to the courts is the first re-up for the 4s and 5s, and then the second re-up, which is what I talked to you, Jason, about, where everything was dusted. A lot of the parts had fallen apart, include the tires, and you can see the condition of the tires and the other parts already in there. These things decay a lot faster than some of the other components that are products that we have on shelves. To do a test, I mean, you can just put a part in a box and just test it, and you'll see that how it decays. It decays pretty rapidly, especially when nothing's being moved.
I don't know why
before the repair started, and the repair just started like 5 days ago now.
Are we not getting like transactions for the last month?
I am not sure because there are stage 5s April 24th. 3 dump valves, 5 anti-roll bars, 7 lightweight materials, and 2 clutches.
Here's kind of like what we're looking at, Bruce, right? And I want you to understand this from our perspective is just from March and April alone, you have sold about $5 million to the court center, right?
No way. You can look at my bank records. No way. In 2 months, $5 million. No way. Give you permission to look at my bank records. No way.
This is based on the court's records. I mean, okay. How much do you have a Kortz account, right?
Yes, I do.
And have you been using the Kortz account to do the sales?
No, not through my sales. No. Positive. This is 72,000 for the last 9 turbos. Everything else has gone through Martha. The last big purchase I did, it was 512,000 that I bought from the courts.
But why is your name on these transactions then?
What do you mean?
Well, we're looking at Kortz transactions, and it says from 3/2 to 4/24. Yep.
The sales, I believe, are the sales Bruce has made. It's what he has sold. And then the purchases is what he has bought.
I see.
Yes.
I've spent a lot of money with Kortz.
Oh, right. Right. I see what I see what you're pointing at, Jason.
Okay, I think
God
I
damn
wish
it.
Michael was here to
Yeah,
explain that a little better.
I'm thinking the same thing. Here's
yeah,
kind of where we're at, Bruce, right? And I want you to be honest here with me.
Yeah, I'm 100% honest.
How much have you profited off the Kortz Center, roughly, including wages?
Roughly since 6 months. In 6 months, or recently when you hired me?
Hired, yeah.
Hired probably about $3 million, if that.
Okay.
If that.
Okay.
Because it costs a lot of money to get the parts, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying profit is not the full term for that, because the payout is one thing, but
because you got about 1.5
in
in wages, right? While not being at the Kortz Center, which is a problem in and of itself. But
wait, 1.5 and wait. Well, that's the weekly wages. So I mean, from what Michael told me, Michael told me that as long as I'm in the city and handling court stuff and questions, I don't have to be posted there.
yeah, maybe we can double check with him. That's not how it really should be. The high
That's
amount.
what he told me. So
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't have cared about the 200K a week. In that same
Here's
sense,
here's
I've
kind
also
of
done
where
work-
we're at. I'm gonna bring Michael in, but for the time being, I'm gonna ask for your key.
yeah, no problem.
And I think a large part of this is we need someone managing the place. I'm very open to working with B2 Customs as a, as us buying. But I think a lot of these core issues that are kind of propping up is due to the underlying conflict, right? You've got a private
agree.
business and this is a government business. I think there's a lot of things that, quite frankly, I think you should have been asking questions about, right? Does it make sense to be getting a paycheck of that high while not being at the Kortz Center, right? Like,
everybody's there. Jason's not there. She gets a paycheck. Martha's not there and she gets a paycheck. So it's not just me. You're isolating just me.
that's not true, actually.
Okay,
I
Martha-
only
Martha
put the
hasn't-
hours that I am at the court center.
Yeah, Martha hasn't collected a single paycheck. And I think the second thing here is there's a
I didn't know that.
yeah, there's a lot of things you don't know, Bruce, right?
Yeah, sure.
Would you hand me the key, please?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wake back up over here. Rotten.